Aztec News at 5 with your hosts Lauren and Anita. Tonight's breaking story is about SDSU undergraduate students who shop at the bookstore. We're investigating the spending habits of students to find out if it's cost effective and efficient for students to shop at the bookstore or not.
Now we go to our correspondent Amy at the bookstore. So Amy, how did you conduct your surveys with the SDSU undergraduate students?
Thank you guys. I'm currently in front of the SDSU bookstore conducting surveys. Our surveys consist first of 4 categorical measurements where I'm asking their grade, their gender, their frequency shopping, and their major. Then I follow it with a measurement data where I'm asking how much do they often spend at the bookstore. Then I follow it with a weight gain question where I ask them if they frequently buy an item or if they less frequently buy it.
That was a great sampling method, Amy. How did you make sure that the sample was representative of the entire undergraduate population?
So our sample size was 300 SDSU undergraduate students who shopped at the bookstore. When I got all 300 of my surveys, I did not look at them until I collected them all so that I wouldn't have any biases. I will send them over to the newscast right now.
You know what, Anita? I think that females may shop at the bookstore a little bit more than males. What do you think?
Well, I think that freshmen are gonna shop. They're gonna spend more money at the bookstore.
Interesting. Let's go back to our correspondent Amy to make sure and see how she surveyed the population to make sure that there weren't any biases in her sample.
In order to prevent biases, I conducted stratified sampling. What we did is we went Monday through Friday to the bookstore at 3 different times of the day. We went during the morning, afternoon, and evening in order to prevent classes affecting our population. We also asked specific questions to see if gender, major, or any other factors would correlate into our data.
Now just in, our producers have handed us the data that Amy has collected. This first histogram details the amount of money that SDSU undergrads spend at the bookstore. As you can see, the majority of students tend to stay in the $0 to $300 range. The mean was $263, the median was $200, and the mode was $300. The minimum and maximum may have played a role in a higher mean due to one student reporting that they spend on average $1,000 a semester at the bookstore.
Here we've got a beautiful bar graph showing us the frequency in which undergraduate students shop at the bookstore on average. It looks like a majority of students are shopping at the bookstore once a month. You know, Lauren, when I was at State, I only used the bookstore only once a semester when I had no other options. I would have joined the second largest category, once a semester.
It was very interesting to see how gender played a role in spending habits. As depicted by this pictograph, out of the 332 people surveyed, 220 were female and 112 were males. Let's see if gender roles could have impacted how often a person goes to the bookstore. Could the presence of jewelry, clothes, and makeup make a difference? Additionally, we have 2 bar graphs here that detail how often males and females shop at the bookstore. We discovered that males on average chose the category of visiting the bookstore once a semester, while our female students chose the category of visiting the bookstore once a month.
This last graph compares undergraduate grade levels and their spending habits. By putting these 4 box plots on top of each other, we are able to directly compare IQRs, medians, ranges, and more. We can see that freshmen have the largest range of money spent, being from $0 all the way to $1,000. However, don't let that fool you. Thanks to the median, we can see that 50% of their spending habits is from $0 to $150. Similarly, seniors have 50% of their data under $200. Amy, these graphs were great. Thank you so much for doing this for us. We appreciate it.
No surprise here that the 2 most common items that students purchased at the bookstore are number 1, Scantrons, and number 2, textbooks. Interested in learning more about the spending habits of SDSU undergrad students? Check out our news website, where you can analyze more graphs and see what other correlations we discovered.
In relation to your initial hypothesis, Lawrence was supported. Females tend to spend more time at the bookstore and more money. Anita's, however, freshman hypothesis of spending more money was not necessarily supported. Freshmen did have the largest range based on our survey of spending $0 to $1,000, but were not proven to spend more money.
In conclusion, Amy, would you say that it's pretty cost effective to shop at the bookstore?
While the bookstore does have expensive prices that could affect the spending habits at SDSU, the on-campus conveniency is effective in students shopping here. Back to you at the station.
Thanks, Amy, for your information. Our next story is trafficking on the 8.